Hello. We'll be analyzing the Eurostat dataset. I'm Bensi and my partner is Karma. So to begin with, what the Eurostat dataset really is, so it's basically a bunch of there's like a lot of satellite images across several categories. I think there's 10 main categories, as you can see in the image on the bottom right. There's annual crop, forest, highway, industrial, pasture, residential, river, sea lake, sewer lake, and permanent crop and herbaceous vegetation. So these are kind of like the different satellite images that are fed into the data set. So essentially our purpose for this project is to create like a model that has the highest accuracy when it comes to identifying these satellite images into these different categories. So our main error metric would be the accuracy. So our target value for the accuracy metric is 85% or higher. And some other metrics that we will be looking over would be precision, recall, and F1 score. So moving on to our baseline model. As you can see on the right side, this is kind of our code for a simple CNN. We've created two-layer convolutional CNN. So their input would be 32, but it comes out as 64. And then we use like ReLU and max pooling as well. And it's a fully connected layer as if you can see here. So input would be 128. Or sorry, it's yeah, 64, 128 right here if you can see. And essentially, that's the first part, creating the CNN. And then the second part is to train the CNN. So to train the CNN, we used Atom Optimizer and 15 epochs. So that's how many times the training would be done through. And in terms of the metric results, or like kind of essentially what we were looking at for the metric was accuracy. So as you can see on the right side, the accuracy is achieved. We ended up getting 0.87 and our kind of accuracy value we were looking for was 0.85. And the training accuracy, so this is the training in the blue, and then this is the test accuracy, which is in the orange, and then the target obviously is a 0.85. So as you can see, the training accuracy hit a max of 92.5%, and then the test accuracy went also 87.5%. So both the training and test accuracies were achieved. And essentially, we also calculated kind of the error rate. So essentially, the accuracy we got was 0.87. And if we do 1 minus 0.87, we get 0.13, 0.13, which is essentially that means that 13% of the images were misclassified even with this model. In terms of the data results, this is our kind of when we ran through the code, this was what we received. And in the blue, I've highlighted the herbaceous vegetation and river, and that's which I'll go over in the next slide. But that means essentially I'm looking at the F1 score, and that's a bit lower than the annual crop and forest and the other basic categories. But in orange, these are the two other categories that are even lower than the ones in blue, which is a highway and permanent crop. So as we can analyze the bottlenecks and data analysis, one would be the categories with underfitting, which is the highways, and the permanent crop, which is the orange category. And essentially the F1 score was 0.74 for both. And it's obvious that these two categories ha don't read the data, the satellite images don't really sort into these two categories too well. And this is definitely something we're going to have to try to work on and train our model a bit better. And then categories with mild underfitting would be kind of the herbaceous vegetation, which has a F1 score of 82, of 0.82, and then the river, which has the F1 score of 0.81. They're not too out there and they're not too low, but they are low in comparison to the forest, industrial, and the residential and the sea lake. as those are closer to 0.87, 0.97, 0.92, 0.98. So those are pretty up high there, and these two over here are a bit in the middle. So these two would also be a few kind of focus areas for us to try to improve. And then our improvement strategies would obviously be augmentation and kind of changing the architecture a bit more to accommodate for these concerns. And essentially, the F1 score, I don't think I fully explained what it is, but the F1 score takes into consideration the precision and the recall values, and that's how the F1 score is generated. So that's what we have for now, and thank you for listening to our presentation.